close race by some measures gotten even closer in recent days. The latest 538 polling average has
Why is it this race keeps getting closer and closer, chat? I don't understand.
Kamala Harris up by less than 3%.
Everyone was celebrating at the DNC. It's just shocking. How did this happen? Who could have foreseen this? I just don't understand it. What the hell's going on?
Percentage points against Donald Trump. And the story in the battleground states is just as tight. Right now, Harris leading in 5 of the 7 big battlegrounds, but it is a tight race in all of them, including right here in Pennsylvania. Check this out. Harris up now by less than 1 percentage point in the polling average. That's essentially a toss-up in the biggest and almost certainly the most important of the battleground states, George.
And right now, Vice President Harris actually, even though she's been vice president for 4 years, not all that well known.
Yeah, this is really striking from the latest New York Times Siena poll, which had Trump leading by 1 point. Almost a third of voters overall, 28%, said they need to learn more about Kamala Harris and her positions before deciding how to vote. That compares to less than 1 in 10 voters, 9%, who say the same about Donald Trump. And another important point, in that same polling, right now we see that almost half of Americans consider Kamala Harris to be too liberal in her positions. Less than a third of Americans say the same about Donald Trump on the other side.
It almost feels like that's perhaps because Donald Trump keeps saying Kamala Harris is a fucking commie, whereas the Democrats have no counter message for Donald Trump's insane, unhinged anti-immigrant sentiment because they've locked themselves down with a right-wing slant on immigration. Now, of course, when you do that, when you adopt the underlying principle that like undocumented migrants are doing crime, even though it's a fucking false narrative entirely, okay, you don't counter message against a policy that Donald Trump is posting, which is basically Hitlerian, okay? Mass deportation of all migrants living on U.S. soil is Hitlerian policy. But I haven't heard a single fucking peep from the Democrats at all on this issue. So when you don't say that, when you don't counter message against that, which is like Donald Trump's signature policy right now that he's running on, then yeah, of course, people are not going to assume that Donald Trump is too conservative because people are fucking stupid, okay? People are stupid. Why are you kind of rooting for Trump? Because the Democrats are also moving to the center. Don't you think it's a good thing that both parties are coming to the center? That reduces the polarity. I'm not answering these stupid ass questions ever again, dude. I'm done. I'm done talking to centrists. I'm done. We're done. We're not having that. We're not having that today. I don't want to get mad. I keep getting mad for no reason.
That he is too conservative. At the same time, this polling suggests that people want to see a sharp break from the Biden administration. So it all makes for a couple of major challenges for Harris going into tomorrow night. She has to define her positions and also potentially define how she has moderated her positions and broken from Biden, even though she is serving as his vice president. That's a lot to get done in one night and beyond, George.
Anyway, Democrats are not counter messaging against Donald Trump being a fucking insane person. Donald Trump gets to be able to present himself as a peaceful dove. That's number one. Donald Trump also doesn't have any counter messaging that shows him as like a fucking psycho on the issue of immigration, which is his number one policy. Democrats have also moved to the right on immigration. So all of a sudden, that magically makes the issue of immigration and mass deportation not such a scary policy at all. It's one that is welcomed by 60% of the American population. Democrats see those polls. They think, oh God, we shouldn't say anything. They dropped this vid, saw it go super viral and get good press, then never did it again. The only thing that might be able to explain their media strategy is that they just don't want to work. Yeah, I think that, this was like boring overall, but I think it like humanized both of the candidates, I guess, for people that do care. I don't really think that this is that big of a deal. What I do think is a big deal is the amount of momentum and the amount of positive coverage Kamala Harris got by not being Joseph Robinette Biden, the amount of momentum and enthusiasm that swung in her direction that genuinely changed the trajectory of the race. The race went from Joseph Robinette Brandon losing the race to Donald Trump, Kamala Harris actually potentially winning the race against Donald Trump. Since then, it seems like since the Walz pick especially that carried more of that momentum, they have been desperately trying to be like, no, we are literally Joe Biden. I promise you we're Joe Biden. I beg you to understand this is the Joe Biden ticket. You love Joe Biden. You love Joe Biden a lot. We are Joe Biden, which is very weird. I've been saying this for months. Kamala Harris had momentum because she wasn't Biden. Now that she spent most of the post-Tim Walz VP pick cycle running as though she is Biden, she's losing that momentum. Harris's debate challenge, pushing ahead without leaving Biden behind. That's dumb as fuck. She should literally drop Biden. You are stupid if you don't recognize that that is what the people want. Like, there are so many aspects of Joseph Robinette Brandon's administration that Kamala Harris genuinely benefited from, like, seemingly not being a part of, despite the fact that she was the vice president. The entire time, the Donald Trump candidacy has been actively trying to tie her now to the Joseph Robinette Brandon administration, despite the fact that she was like a lesser known VP who was just like running around doing fucking all the shittiest jobs that you could possibly do. People see her race and gender and think she's more progressive. That initially worked both ways. Young and progressive voters were excited and more conservative voters were opposed. As time has gone on, the right wing sees her gender and race and continues to oppose her, but progressives see her running to the right on policy and stop liking her. She managed to walk the path of defeat. Exactly. Always expect the Democrats to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Okay? Always. They will always do it. And they're doing it now. What did I tell you? I said Kamala Harris needs to activate, okay? Needs to activate the Obama 2008 coalition of voters. She needs to go progressive and she needs to motivate younger voters. She needs to motivate more progressively minded voters, the voting blocks that were leaving Joseph Robinette Brandon behind, because Joseph Robinette Brandon's projected path to victory relied on college-educated white voters. It relied on old conservative former Republican Party voters swapping out for the Brandon ticket. Some of those people are not going to turn around and vote for a black woman, okay? That is a reality. That is a reality. These were not like diehard Biden loyalists. They simply saw Donald Trump as a issue. And this dramatically changed the legislative trajectory of the Democratic Party, because they were just like, oh, we are now Republican. We are officially, openly the Republican Party. We are the former Republican Party. As the Democratic Party, we are now the former Republican Party, okay? If you love the former Republican Party, come vote for us. The funny thing is they picked Walz because he was good on TV and are now hiding him because they are scared to actually have a policy agenda and defend it. That is what is genuinely frustrating. I thought that they would have recognized that Tim Walz was going to lock them into progressive policies and defending those progressive policies. That's why I thought that pick was consequential. That's why I thought that pick was meaningful. And now, where the fuck is Tim Walz? They're making him do radio slots in fucking Minnesota, man. They're making him do radio interviews, bro. It's insane how well she was doing when she was going by her instincts, and now that she's listening to Biden campaign losers, she starts falling off. Pathetic. Yeah, they just don't want to win. That's it, dude. There's no other rhyme or reason for the way that they have been behaving. They just don't want to fucking win. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I just, like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Tim Walz is phenomenal for the fucking blue wall Rust Belt. Okay, he's great. He's great for that. Literally, just ship his ass. Make his ass fucking do a circle from Western Pennsylvania all the way to motherfucking Idaho, okay? And just rinse and repeat. Make him run circles in that fucking region. That's it. Do you think the next president should represent a major change from Joe Biden, a minor change, or no change from Joe Biden? Minor change at 32%, no change at 3%, major change at 63%. This doesn't seem really good for the incumbency, doesn't it? It almost seems like the incumbent advantage is gone, okay? It's gone. And we knew that already because Biden is no longer running for president. Why is he no longer running for president? Because the Democratic Party recognized that Biden had no pathway to victory. The more she comes out and says, I am basically Joe Biden, younger and a black woman, okay? If she keeps doing that, she's cooked. When I went to the DNC and I saw the fucking vibes, and I saw how excited people were, how much they were doing victory laps as though they had 10 points on Trump in Pennsylvania or some shit. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the fuck are these people doing? What are they doing? They're out of their goddamn minds. Her entire policy page was a copy-paste Biden-Harris platform. She's running back into the cold embrace of a dead campaign that literally led her to becoming the nominee. It doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Because Kamala would not be running for president right now as the candidate if the Biden campaign was doing great. Okay? So the very reason why you're running should cause you to understand that like people denied the Biden administration a second term. They didn't want it. These poll results reflect that reality. So why the fuck would you go, well, let me go back and hug the campaign that was so bad that it led me into becoming the face of the candidacy? If this trajectory continues, and for the record, I will say this, if this trajectory continues, and it seemingly is going to continue with no real changes, no real differences, this race is no longer a lock for Kamala Harris in the way that I said it was, okay? And I don't think she's going to change anything during the debate. She has shown you time and time again, since the Tim Walz pick, she has shown you time and time again that no, this is the nothing will fundamentally change ticket. Today's numbers, after some further mediocre new polling for Harris, lead down to 2.3 points in our national average after a peak of 4.3, which wasn't enough anyway. It has to be +5 regardless. The debate is well timed for her, at least in terms of having a chance to regain that momentum. But basically, the mediocre new polls like New York Times and Pew are landing exactly where our model thought they would after Harris got very little convention bounce. So that convention bounce adjustment y'all were complaining about is looking fairly prescient.